All right, so we're going to start our last learning. So Ella was studying the set of triangles at right or at below while examining. All right, so we're going to start our last learning. Ella was studying the set of triangles. While examining them, she thought they were congruent. Do you agree or disagree with Ella's statement, and why? What do you think? So I would say they are congruent because of side, 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 side. So yes, side, side, side. Now we're going to have to make a way to formally put our thinking together and kind of make a statement, a proof, right? We need to prove they're congruent. You can't just say, yeah, because side, side, side. Let's bring that all together. So we're going to make this thing called a flowchart. So here we need 3 pieces of evidence. So our evidence is to show angles and sides are the same. So for example, we can say BC equals DE. We can say FE equals AC. And we can say FD equals AB. And our reasoning goes below those circles. So we know BC and ED are the same because they're both 4.5. FE equals AC, they're both 7.5. And these two are both 6. And a flowchart is these 3 pieces of information tell us something. So we're drawing arrows to that next statement. Knowing these 3 things tells us that triangle ABC is congruent to triangle FDE. And the statement we use, the congruent statement, goes underneath. Side, side, side. So that is a flowchart proving those triangles are congruent. So we're going to create another flowchart showing these 2 triangles are congruent. So we have triangle CAB and FDE. CA is 9, FD is 9, AB is 13, DE is 13, and they have the same angle. The first thing I do is I decide which congruent statement should we use. So here we have side, angle, side, side, angle, side. So we're going to use that somehow. So to start our flowchart, we always draw our 3 circles. That's going to be our evidence. So our first evidence is AC equals DF. And we know that because they're both 9. Another piece of evidence is we're going to call this angle A equals angle D. And they're both 65. And then last part, AB equals DE. They're both 13. And so these 3 things tell us that triangle ABC equals triangle DEF. And I said equals, but this is actually, it's congruent. They're the same shape and the same size. And then remembering our reasoning goes underneath. Side, angle, side was our reasoning. So this note down here says the arrows show the facts that lead to each conclusion. Make sure you have arrows leading from the facts to the conclusion. So I need to add some arrows here showing that these 3 things tell us that conclusion statement. So Katie drew a set of triangles shown at right. What theorem could be used to show the triangles are congruent? 10 seconds. So if you said side, angle, side, you are correct. Now there's no numbers in this one, but we know that they're the same. We know AC equals FD. So I'm going to get you started. And here we have AC equals DF. And the reasoning is if it's just marked and there's no numbers, we can say given. So I want you to pause the video and finish this flowchart to show the triangles are congruent. So here's what I have for my flowchart. Check it with yours. So our friends Colin and Trey drew two different flowcharts. How are they different, and which one do you think would be correct? So I want you just to look at these two flowcharts. What's the difference between them and which one is correct? So the difference is, in Colin's, the conclusions telling us the facts, but in Trey's, the facts are leading to our conclusion. So all it is the direction of the arrows, and Trey's would actually be correct. So I'm going to do A with you, this first one, and I'm going to have you do the second one on your own. And I'm going to label this actually A, B, C, D, E, F. There you go. So to prove these are congruent, if we just look, what theorem are we going to use? Well, we see two sides, but we need three pieces of evidence. So what's hidden in that diagram? It's these vertical angles. So we're going to use side, angle, side to show they're congruent. So our first statement is, I'm just going to start with all the givens. I'm going to say BG equals DG. I'm going to say OG equals IG. And those are both given. And then how did we know, and I'm just going to label this angle 1 and angle 2. How did we know angle 1 equals angle 2? What do we call those? Well, they make a V, so we call them vertical angles. So these three things tell us triangle big is congruent to triangle dog because of side, angle, side. So I want you to pause the video and try to do that second one on your own. So here's what I got for my flowchart. You can check it with yours. And actually, when I was doing this first one, I forgot to draw my arrows. So make sure you add those in if you noticed I didn't, then good for you. +1 point. You can write me a message saying that you deserve extra credit for recognizing that before I did. So our last one today is we're going to get started together, and then you're going to do it on your own. So the first thing I did is I labeled these angles, angle 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we need to decide what theorem we're going to use. So what we have right now is angle, angle. So two angles isn't good enough. There's something hidden there. Do you know what it is? So the hidden part is they share this side, BG. So our first step, I'm just going to get you started. I'm going to say BG equals BG, and our reasoning is shared side. So I want you to finish that flowchart, and that's what you're going to upload a picture of as your homework.